Hello and welcome to the Guitar Collection, as well as this week's episode of Tone Check, which is a series that I'm going over recent arrivals and some of my top guitar picks of the week. I published the first episode of this series last week and you guys really seem to enjoy it. I'd love to hear your feedback about these and how they progress here, specifically about the number of presentations and how long each of the guitar presentations are. I'd love to hear your feedback. Thanks so much for watching. Many of these guitars are just now being released on the website or are not released yet. So make sure to check the description of this video for more information about these instruments and contact me at evan@guitarcollection.com. Let's go ahead and get started with the first guitar. This is a guitar by the American luthier Michael Cadiz, who's actually been living for a number of years in Austria. Now, Michael is becoming very well known for building incredible traditionally braced guitars with some modern features and really a modern voice to them in terms of volume and projection. Right off the bat, you'll notice this one has a spruce top, the really beautiful rosette here where you see lots of different colors and small lines. It's the type of rosette that when you look a little bit closer, there's more and more detail. You'll see a bridge here with a tie block with a couple of wood colors here, maybe a matte or satin finished bridge. And this guitar is in spectacular condition from the year 2018. Again, it has this raised fingerboard. You can see it makes it quite a bit easier to access the higher frets. Now, when I turn the guitar around, you'll see this piece of Palfero wood, which is gorgeous. Lots of orange and brown tones and a bit of red in this. And just a little bit of wear to the French polish where the chest meets the body. All totally normal things for a guitar that's been well cared for and also played. The neck has a really nice C shape, very thin, very low action, super easy to play guitar. And when you look up at the headstock, you'll notice really nice Italian-made Alessi tuners. A very simple headstock design that's a nod to quite a few masters there. And well, let's get into the sound. When I play some chords on this guitar, the first thing that I notice is that it has a very crisp, clear sound. You can achieve a warmth with this guitar without trying too hard, but it really easily produces this a little bit more bold, aggressive Spanish sound when you push the guitar a bit. You see what I mean? Or if I really want to warm it up. See, it turns on a dime to bright. A really, really nice sound. And you know, it's always hard to tell when making these recordings and listening back to them the volume of a guitar. But man, does this thing have volume. You know, I review a lot of double top and super loud lattice brace guitars. But when you play this guitar by itself, not comparing it to the loudest guitars in the entire world, you don't feel like this thing's missing any volume. Let's try a little bit of Registro by Antonio Lauro. And when I explore some of these strings, you'll hear a really nice cello quality to these bass strings. And then the sixth string has this really deep punch to it. And then maybe a little bit of the treble strings. star of the show is this first string. You know, when I get up here. I love it when luthiers seem to prioritize that singing quality of the first string. And speaking of singing quality, let's hear this with a little bit of Prelude 11 by Tárrega. Lightest little touch on that first string emits such a beautiful quality. As you can see, this guitar really has that ability to be responsive and quick. Or have that sultry, Spanish sound that invites you a little bit closer to the guitar. So I hope you've enjoyed this little brief look at this 2018 Michael Cadiz guitar. Really a fantastic instrument. Congratulations to Michael. Let's move on to the next guitar. This guitar is by the American luthier Michael Fontenot. He is actually based here in Texas, in the city of Fredericksburg, which is just a couple of hours away from where I am in Austin, Texas. Now, Michael's been showing me his instruments for quite some time now, and this number 19 and 21 were like equals with one another. And yes, this is his 19th guitar. It is a cedar double top with balsa as the in-between layer. You'll notice this really nice wooden rosette, no mosaic patterns here, some lines that go asymmetric around here that fits extremely well. You'll see this raised fingerboard, making it quite a bit easier to reach the upper positions. This instrument is 640 scale, making it a little bit easier for those of you that might struggle with stretches or want a guitar that's slightly smaller. You have this beautiful armrest on this guitar that fits so nicely. It's a seamless transition from the side to the armrest. When you turn the guitar around, it's Indian rosewood back and sides with this nice strip down the center. His neck is something that I've worked with him for a while on. And it is a nice C-shape, super thin, how I personally like it. So if it doesn't suit you, that's okay. I love this. This guitar has a super low main air resonance. I'm jumping the sound before I even finish the rest of it here. We got the headstock with this beautiful center stripe, maybe a little homage to some of Tárrega's instruments or maybe Romanillos. And then some basic tuners, nothing fancy. They work fine, but if you buy this guitar, maybe you'll treat yourself to a nice pair of tuners by, Scheller, Barnett, Rogers, Alessi, one of these great tuner makers. Okay, about the sound. Like I said, it's got a very low main air resonance that, might remind you of the sound of something like Michel Bruck or Dennis Toltz or Matthias Dahmen with these very low main air resonances. But this guitar, as opposed to those, is at a very affordable price point. It's his 19th guitar, but I'm telling you, there are not many guitars that sound this great at this price point. So definitely check it out at guitarcollection.com. Let's try a little bit of Registro by Antonio Lauro. As you can hear, it's got this depth to the sound, and also the treble sparkles so beautifully. And these are all nylon strings. There's no carbons. Well, I'm now playing in the key of D major. So I will have to show you a bit of Prelude 11 by Tárrega, which I play on every guitar. Well, congratulations to Michael Fontenot. What a beautiful guitar, his 19th. So if you're looking to get an incredible guitar at a very, very reasonable price, check it out at guitarcollection.com. Yeah, this is a beautiful number 19 Michael Fontenot cedar double top. On to the next guitar. This guitar is made by the Chinese luthier Yulong Guo from the year 2025, and this is his Echoes model, which is a cedar double top with a Nomex in between layer. Now, Yulong Guo's workshop has been making incredible guitars all the way from extremely inexpensive beginner price guitars all the way to his Philharmonic model, which are really, really high-end double tops. This guitar is somewhere in the middle. This is his Echoes model, which is a cedar Nomex double top, and it is a several $1,000 guitar, so a really nice next step up from the very basic factory model guitar that you might have. This thing is a step up in terms of volume. It's much more powerful. It's a much more colorful guitar than many of the guitars that you might start with. And it has a raised fingerboard, making it really easy to access the upper frets. A very, very comfortable neck. And I have to say, I'm really careful about this price range of guitars. There is a whole sea of options, and this one, I promise you, is one super worthwhile if you're looking for a nice upgrade. So let's start out with a few chords. I'm telling you, if you have a click over to the website to see how much this costs, or you might write me an email, you'll be very pleasantly surprised. These are super nice guitars for the money. And again, it's a cedar Nomex double top with some beautiful rosewood on the back and sides. In fact, take a look at this little piece of sapwood that goes down the center. And this is one of the guitars I have of his right now. I have several of these available at this very moment, and I have more on the way. So if you're watching this video for one that maybe you have ordered, it might slightly differ in the way it looks, but it's going to look very similar with its own unique touches. And I've played all of these that I've gotten recently, and they sound all so similar. But yeah, listen to some more on this guitar, maybe a little bit of Registro by Antonio Lauro. I feel really powerful playing on this thing. It's really, really nice. Now I'll play a little bit of Prelude 11 by Tárrega. Yeah, this guitar has a lot of depth and a really crystalline quality to these trebles. And these basses have a really, really nice sound to them. You know, as I'm playing this thing, I'm thinking, man, if this was a guitar I had when I first started playing classical guitar, or even as my next step up, I would have been so happy. This thing is great. Okay, well this has been a Yulong Guo Echoes model, which is a cedar double top with Nomex as the in-between layer. And I have several of these in stock right now, and if you would like to see if there's one in stock for you, you can check it out via the link in the description. And thanks so much for watching. On to the next guitar. Another Yulong Guo guitar. This guitar is a Yulong Guo chamber concert model. Now, this is one of Yulong Guo's highest models. This one is now several $1,000s. And these guitars are played by so many students in university and conservatory level. This is not a Philharmonic model or his concert model guitar, just one step below these, but it's an excellent guitar for the money. And when you look inside the guitar, there's actually lots of little details, little braces added, little weights here and there that really show that they're caring a little bit more about the refinement of the sound of this model. So if this is something you're looking for and you think that this one might be for you, you can definitely check it out at guitarcollection.com. Let's start, before going over the specs, with a little bit of a sound sample, a few chords. This one has quite a bit of bite to it, a lot of depth to the bass. There's a bit more maturity to the sound of this one in comparison to the Echoes model, but it's not by a whole lot. Of course, when it comes to comparing instruments, we care about these little details, and these are often reflected in the price. But yes, it's a very powerful, very well-rounded sound. Well, right off the bat, you will see it is a cedar double top. It's a French polish top as well. You'll notice this beautiful armrest here with a matte finish, along with some touches on the bridge that are matte finished. This rosette, I have to say, is gorgeous. Look at this. You've got this These outer rings here are so beautiful with little tan colors and green colors, and then this very three-dimensional rosette in the center that really pops. I think it looks great. It's changed a little bit on these models. It has a raised fingerboard for easy access to the upper frets. And when you turn the guitar around, you'll see this nice piece of Indian rosewood with a little strip down the center of maple that tapers away. And I have a few of these models available, and you can always check on the fact if I have one of these available on the website. But this is a video in general of these models. Yours might differ in the way it looks just a little bit, but I have to say they're incredibly consistent. The last time I received quite a few of these, and I played every one, and it was actually very difficult to find differences between them. If you blind test me, I wouldn't know. But anyways, let's try some pieces on this guitar. It's really quite something. One of my close friends in my undergraduate had this exact model, a chamber concert model. Now, this was more than 10 years ago. And these guitars have come such a long way since then. These have been around for quite some time. They're not a new kid on the block. And it has so much more depth to the sound than I remember. Let's try a little bit of Prelude 11 by Francisco Tárrega, a piece that I play on every guitar. Lovely, really crisp trebles, beautiful sustain, and a punch to the bass that really reminds me of Matthias Daumann's guitars. I mean, really, really powerful basses. So you know what? This guitar would be great for someone looking for a big step up from anywhere in the factory range of guitars, going to a double top guitar with raised fingerboard. That wants a really powerful sound but doesn't quite have the budget to go to a super high-end boutique handmade guitar. This one is perfect. Or if you're a concert player and you're looking for a gigging instrument or one to practice on that's of really high quality but doesn't break the bank, this would be an excellent, excellent instrument for you. Well, congratulations to the Yulong Guo workshop on this beautiful chamber concert guitar from the year 2025. Check it out at guitarcollection.com. On to the next guitar. This is a guitar by the Canadian luthier Douglas Scott. Now, Douglas Scott builds some of the most sought-after traditional instruments in the world, has earned himself a many-year wait list now. These are very hard instruments to come by, and I am so fortunate to be representing his instruments here in the United States. I just got this guitar in a couple of days ago, so it is still breaking in, opening up, and I'm still in awe by the way this thing looks and sounds. Before I even go over the specs, you have to hear it. Now I know it's hard to hear things like volume and projection on recordings and videos, but maybe you just hear it here. It has this huge open sound. It's brand new. It's like a few days old. And this is what's making Douglas Scott's instruments stand out from the pack, in my opinion. They are super powerful instruments, traditionally braced, so you get this wonderful Spanish sound, but without sacrificing volume and the evenness all over the neck that this guitar has. So it has a cedar top. It's a fan braced guitar, a really beautifully integrated ebony armrest here. You'll notice his rosette design here, very simple, very elegant. When you look a little bit closer, you'll notice there's a little miniature tournevis. I guess similar in a way to what you'll see many luthiers doing nowadays, like Dennis Toltz with his waveguide design, but this is Douglas Scott's own thing here. And what I love is that it's made out of ebony. So it's a piece of wood here that just looks so beautiful. You can even see little grains in the wood. And that's actually meant to balance out the difference in main air resonance that these sound ports provide, as you can see. On this guitar, as opposed to the last one he built for my shop, you'll notice two Ruck style sound ports. And this, of course, provides a little bit more clear of an idea of how the guitar sounds to the player behind the instrument. The neck was built to my specs, very nice and thin, C-shaped. Douglas Scott's old instruments had much more of a D shape to them. This one is much more C-shaped, which I really enjoy. It's got a very low action set up to my spec. This one is full size, 650 scale, and has a nice standard pair of tuners here on the headstock and a beautiful headstock design that's reminiscent of Torres, I would say. Well, what else is there to say about this guitar? Well, we have this piece of wingay on the back and sides, which is really beautiful. It almost looks like Indian rosewood, but I can tell it's wingay. It's so tight and such a disparity between the browns and blacks. It's gorgeous. A really nice slim heel and heel cap here. Let's get a little bit more into the sound, maybe test out some of the strings here. How silky is that? The A string. Wow, okay, and let's try the fifth. Wow, let's try a little bit of Prelude 11 by Tárrega. Wow, this guitar just has unbelievable power and clarity, and without sacrificing that beautiful Spanish sound. Beautiful. How about that sound? Wow. Well, what a beautiful guitar by Douglas Scott from the year 2025. This is his 151st guitar. So many beautiful guitars coming from his workshop. They are incredibly hard to get, so if you're interested in this guitar, it very well might be available. Check it out at guitarcollection.com. Don't forget to hit subscribe on this video. And yeah, congratulations to Douglas Scott. What a beautiful instrument. On to the next guitar. This is a guitar made by the American luthier John Dick. Now, John has been building double top guitars since the late 90s, making him actually one of the first few people to build double top guitars, and he's been doing that design since then, of course, tweaking little things here and there. Now, John sent me this guitar specifically for guitarcollection.com, but it's not my first experience with his instruments. Back in my undergraduate, more than 10 years ago now, I had a friend, Jesse Garcia, who played one of his instruments. I think he still does. It was fantastic. The sound always blew me away. It always made me want a double top guitar. And here is the first one now in my studio, and it's so great to see the evolution of these guitars. So before I get into the absolute killer sound of this guitar, let's talk a little bit about the specs. So you'll notice this beautiful cedar top with this tint to it, makes it a little bit more orangier color. It's really, really a nice look to it. It's a cedar double top with Nomex as the in-between layer. You'll notice the rosette here, a very strong influence from Hernandez y Aguado, which is, if you look at the rosettes of these instruments, you will notice that same pattern. And also, not to mention the headstock, which is also almost a carbon copy of Hernandez y Aguado guitars, and I understand why he has such great respect for them. I actually have one right now that is fantastic from 1964. There's a matte finish here on the headstock as well as here on the bridge, which, gosh, it looks like Wingay to me, although it could be a rosewood. There's quite a nice break angle to the saddle here. It leans a little bit backwards, and a very nice low action on this guitar. When I turn it around, you'll see this beautiful set of Indian rosewood, some nice colored woods in here. I'm not sure quite what it is, but this red is gorgeous. And then the back of the neck is actually a satin finished back of the neck. It's very, very smooth, although it's not shiny and glossy like a typical French polish neck. I quite like the look of it. Very thin, C-shaped, exactly how I like it. And when my eyes go down to the fingerboard, I immediately notice these really nice, tall and wide frets, which I really like. I've got a Miguel Rodriguez guitar that has very similar fret wire, and it just feels really great. What a beautiful guitar. Let's get to know it a little bit as far as the sound goes. Gosh, these basses are earth-shattering. And they've got so much sustain to them too. They've got the bite and the power, but also the sustain. And then when it comes to the trebles of this guitar, they have such a beautiful sustain. In fact, why don't I test it with Prelude 11 by Francisco Tárrega. The sustain of this guitar, of the trebles specifically, have such a regality to them. You know, on this guitar, when you play the first string, you don't hear a lot of the attack. you just hear a note, which makes making things legato so easy. What a spectacular instrument. I mean, it's really great to know that these are just, I mean, they're up there with some of the best double tops. They're fantastic. Well, congratulations to John. What a beautiful guitar. It's an honor to have this one in my shop. It sounds so great. So thanks so much for watching. Well, that concludes this week's Tone Check Recent Arrivals video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please let me know what you think. And if you're interested in any of these guitars that I mentioned, please write me an email at evan@guitarcollection.com and I'll fill you in on the details. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.